I survived a plane crash. Believe it or not, there were 2 survivors, and John and I were definitely very much in survival mode. Manistee River. So, this is my practice hike, getting myself ready for doing the Colorado Trail. And today's goal, this trail is basically about a 20-mile loop, 19.8 miles for a loop. And I am going to try to do the whole thing all at one day. What a beautiful morning. Got up at about 4:50 this morning. Got on the trail about 6:15. Got a couple of pictures of Red Bridge. That's where I parked at, and I'm kind of doing the loop a little differently. It's just a little more convenient for me doing it this way. It's a beautiful morning here. What I plan on doing is tell a story today. Yeah, a buddy of mine owns a plane. Came up and picked me up in Thompsonville. And the idea was that we were going to spend some time on Beaver Island. We were going to do some hiking up there, probably spend the night maybe underneath the wing or something, and do some hiking around Beaver Island. We then took off, and as we're getting ready to fly up to Beaver Island, he said, "How about doing North Fox Island?" I said, "Sure, that sounds like a plan to me." North Fox Island is a pretty small island. It's a little grass strip in the center of the island. It's interesting, Fox Island has a reputation, or has a old establishment that was back in the 70s where kids were being abused on the island. I thought it'd be kind of cool to just explore the old ruins or whatever's there regarding that. And you know, there's all these altitudes and all these requirements, and showing me all the details of his plane and what's going on and what we have to watch out for. And I just casually said, "Do we have to worry about the grass strip being soft?" He says, "Oh no, we don't have to worry about that." Hey, just stopping and taking a quick look here. Not really a lookout, but a good camping spot, really. About 3.6 into the day. We went and landed, no incident. But then what we did was we wanted to turn the plane around and head to the other end of the landing strip just to be ready so we could just take off when we want to at the end of our hike. As we're taxiing up the runway, we kind of went off the center line of the runway, a little bit to the right. All of a sudden, our wheels sank in. Specifically, the right wheel underneath the wing sank in. It was just slightly soft, but it stopped the plane dead cold right in its tracks. We were concerned. We didn't know what to expect from this. We went ahead, got out and surveyed the situation. No damage to anything. I mean, it was slow motion when we sank in, but obviously we have a plane now that's stuck. I'm about 8.5, maybe a little bit more into the hike. And just going across the bridge here is Eddington Creek. So, John and I got out of the plane and checked out the situation, and basically our landing gear was stuck in the mud. So he and I figured, well, if we can get some wood and with a little bit of ingenuity, we should be able to get the wheel out. And we knew there was a maintenance shed somewhere, and about a half a mile walk away, down the very end of the runway, we found the shed that contained the mowers And it just so happened they had a jack lift in there and lots of wood. With 4 or 5 trips back and forth, half a mile each time, carrying wood, jacks, all that. Got back to the plane and basically we jacked up the one side, got some boards under the wheel, and we're sitting pretty good. But we decided that we really need to get the plane more 90 degrees. So when we start going, we're going right into the center of the runway because it was still soggy on the sides of the runway. I stayed out of the plane and just observed. John went ahead and figured he could get it going. He was going to stay away from the brakes and just use the rudder for steering. So went ahead, got ready to go, powered up, got the RPMs up, let go, and she hopped right on out into the center of the runway, started going towards the other side of the runway, and John, full rudder, didn't dare put on the brakes because he was afraid that the tire would dig in. Started going about parallel with the runway, but he's on the left side of it. Front wheel sunk in, and boom, the prop hit the ground. He sent pictures of the prop because we did get some chips on the prop from hitting the ground, and had his mechanic look at it. We went ahead and again, took us about another hour or so getting the plane on boards. And for the third time, went ahead, gunned it. We had a long plank ways, thinking we'll get over the soft turf and get onto the hard runway. Right at the end, the nose wheel, which we were not concerned about, we were more concerned about the other wheels. It took a nosedive. Went in and we hit the prop really hard. And this time, the prop was bent and we were stuck. Unfortunately, I have phone service. If we're at the very end of the runway, we had 1 or 2 bars. So we walked all the way to the end of the runway, and John took lots of pictures and lots of detail. Got it to the mechanics and everybody to assess what we're gonna do. This is the Mini-Mac Bridge. Basically, it goes over the Manistee River, and it's a suspension bridge that's basically marking my halfway mark. Just stopping to have lunch, looking out on the Manistee River. In fact, if we look across the bank there, so John and I, we were not going to fly out of there. We called the 911 and let them know that we have a problem. So they said, okay, well, is there any medical emergencies? And obviously we were both fine. So they said, we'll have somebody give you a call back here shortly. We had to sit there and wait, and it took about an hour, but we got a phone call back saying from Sault Ste. Marie Coast Guard. We told them that we could stay there overnight if we had to, stay in the plane. It would have been cold, it would have been a miserable night, but we could have done it. Talking to them, they said, look it, we'll go ahead and make arrangements to have somebody come and get you. I got to still work out some details. But we need you to stay by the phone. And unfortunately, it was the only place that the phone worked. So we waited about 45 minutes And finally they said, okay, we've got a helicopter coming. It'll be there in about an hour. So John and I had to quickly secure the plane, and lo and behold, the Coast Guard went ahead, flew in, and then caught a helicopter ride back to Traverse City. And it's so nice it was Traverse City, so it's easy for Emily to come pick me up. So I did survive an airplane crash. So the article basically states crash, airplane crash, and that there were 2 survivors, and John and I were definitely very much in survival mode. So it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Been punching some miles. I'll say I got about 15 miles in. Got 5 more to go. Feeling pretty darn good. It's always enjoyable coming out here to the trail. So there's part 2 to this adventure. Is obviously got to get the plane off the island and all that. I think I'm getting pretty well set for the Colorado Trail. Been doing lots of small hikes. This is by far the longest hike I've done, but I'm not carrying much of a weight. So you can see all the ferns in the area. The woods are just beautiful. Couldn't have picked a better day to be doing this. Not too hot. Cool morning to start this afternoon. It's got to be in the low 70s. Just very comfortable. All right, catch up to you here a little further down the trail.